Welcome back to the Joy in the Dark podcast. I'm your host, Joy Felicity, and this is my co-host, Sophie Isadora. We are here to talk about costuming, hair, and makeup. It'll be a two-part series. So we're going to be talking about some of the things that go into the base and the undergarments today. um, the accessories and things like that we will talk about on our next episode. But today we want to talk right down to it. The undergarments, the style of the ball gown or the suit, and just a little bit about what goes into selecting the right type of costuming that makes you feel empowered, that brings out your beauty and your vision, and makes you just feel like you are part of the Midnight Masquerade series that we have, and specifically this event, the Midsummer Night's Dream. Um, Sophie, I would really, really like you to talk about some of those very fun
Unmentionables?
unmentionables.
Okay.
That's right.
So we're going to get into a very big part of what goes into making an effective ball gown and making it look the way that you want it to look. And a lot of that has to do with the undergarments. And there's a variety of them. So we're going to talk about hoop skirts. We're going to talk about petticoats. We're going to talk about crinolines, panniers. We're going to talk about bustles. All of those, some of you may be listening or watching thinking like, what are some of those things? We're going to break them all down for you right now. And these are all things that nobody will probably ever see because they are hidden under your fabulous ball gown. And these are the things that go into making your ball gown look as amazing as it does look. So
we will also be providing some photos in our links and our comments that'll show you exactly what a petticoat is and what a bustle is and the proper way to put it on, the proper way to wear it, and also the type of gown that it might go best under.
right.
There are a lot of different types of gowns, and undergarments are really what makes those gowns and how they will look their best. We will also be providing a Pinterest board that will have some ideas of gowns and menswear for our Midsummer Night's Dream, and we'll make sure to provide that too. But for now, let's talk to the seamstress, Sophie,
Okay.
on where those things came from, why they are important, and what they are.
Yeah. So we're going to give you a little history lesson here. I promise it will be painless, but we're going to kind of go over when these were popular because obviously our balls run through different time periods, a lot of them. So the theme of the event kind of dictates what undergarments you might wear based on the time period that the theme is placed in. Okay. So first one is hoop skirts. Hoop skirts have been worn across several timelines, several centuries. They are what creates the very voluminous, very dramatic effect. So if you've seen the silhouette of the very small waist, the very dome shaped skirt or dress, very likely what is underneath there is a hoop skirt. And hoop skirts, I think, are probably the way to go. They're my favorite to use. They were originally created in order to keep the skirt or the fabric away from the body, especially in warmer climates, which, as Joy and I can tell you, working these events, we are never sitting down and we are running around at all times. We very rarely have a chance to even take a breath. Having our gigantic dresses, heavy dresses, away from our bodies is a game changer. So the hoop skirt is by far my favorite. I would highly, highly recommend it. As I know in Joy and my conversations, it's one of her favorites as well.
natural cooling.
It's true.
Airflow comes up. You can wear very practical shoes under there because nobody can
Nobody can see your
see.
shoes. Yep.
Also, when you're going full speed ahead into a crowd and this giant bell is coming at you, you like step aside.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do not have people step aside when I am in a Morticia mermaid dress. I'm going to tell you, when I have that big bell on and I'm moving full speed ahead, all cylinders firing, people move right out of the way.
Hmm.
They never move out of the way when I am in a Morticia mermaid dress.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, they want to get closer to me because, the curves and all that things.
Right. Right.
But it definitely creates this, need to move away.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think especially for people who, in a ball situation, it's very crowded. So for people who get anxious in like crowded areas, I'm going to highly recommend the hoop skirt for you because it creates this natural buffer. Like Joy had mentioned, people move out of your way, but people also, because your dress and the skirt of your dress is so large, they can't get next to you. So it's like that natural, like you've got this cushion on 360 around you that people can't even get in that close. So it's a great experience. If you haven't worn a hoop skirt before, I strongly recommend it. Try it out. It dramatically changes what your dress looks like. Highly recommend.
it's also very comfortable. It's
Oh my God,
lightweight,
so light.
and it travels well. You can
Does
fold
travel.
it up. You can make it very small.
Hmm.
It's like such a lovely hack for fantasy ball dresses.
100%.
It's a game changer.
I
For
agree.
sure.
I agree. Okay, so hoop skirts. Now, moving on, we have got another undergarment similar to a hoop skirt. It is worn under your ball gown, but it is what's called a pannier. A pannier is a little bit different. It's also kind of a cage like the hoop skirt is, except the pannier accentuates the sides of your dress. So if you think back to maybe if you've watched Bridgerton, panniers are used in a lot of those dresses where it's relatively flat in the front and the back of the dress, but the sides of the dress are accentuated. These were very popular in the 17th and 18th century. They extended the skirt out, but just on the sides, it made it easier to walk around in. Again, the front and the back are relatively flat. Not completely flat, but relatively flat. How would you feel about panniers?
Um, it depends on the dress.
Sure.
It definitely does give you that accentuated waist because it makes your waist look very
Mhm.
small, makes the hips look larger. Also, if you have, that type of body style,
Mhm.
it's a great way to kind of like hide some of
Mask
your
some things.
correct
Yeah.
and still make it look elegant, tasteful. It's a nice alternative to a hoop skirt
Right.
and gives it a little bit of a different look.
Yeah.
These would be really good for layered ball gowns that might have like some extra tulle or ruching on the
There's a little more
sides.
structure to them.
Right.
Yeah. Bustles. Okay. Bustles were around in the mid 19th century. This, unlike the pannier, which adds the volume to the sides, the bustle creates the volume in the back. So if you were looking for a little more junk in the trunk kind of situation, it accentuates the rear of the dress. And sometimes people would wear these in combination with each other. But in a lot of dresses, especially when you see kind of Westerns, I think I noticed them a lot where the back of the dress is tailored to be a little more cushiony in the back. And then the front and sides of the dress lay relatively flat. So bustles are something I don't use them a lot personally, but they are out there. It is a option that you have depending on the dress again.
The dress is really where it's at.
Yeah.
If you're going to need a bustle or not. Oftentimes, dresses that use bustles are going to have some of like the slits in the front
Mhm.
so that the legs are exposed a little bit, or
Mhm.
the high lows,
Yep.
also another really good one for a bustle.
Mhm.
I've seen people actually wear bustles on the outside of the dress and
Okay.
they get like a little bit of lace or like really pretty bustling, and
Mhm.
then it gives a totally different layout to the dress, and
Mhm.
it's super fun. You will see that a little bit more in like Victorian balls,
Right.
or Edwardian even has a few
Yeah.
out bustles. So
Agreed. We're going to move on to crinolines and petticoats. Very, very similar. They are kind of used interchangeably. Mid 19th century is when you would again see the rise of crinolines, the rise of petticoats. The main difference, I think, between a crinoline and a petticoat, as opposed to the hoop skirt, both of them are usually full length unless you're wearing it for a shorter dress or a shorter skirt, like in the 50s with like poodle skirts and stuff like that. But for ball gowns, they're full length typically. But the difference between the hoop skirt and the petticoat or crinoline is the structure. The hoop skirt has the structure and is very lightweight. A petticoat and a crinoline is usually because of layers of tulle or layers of fabric. Some are a little more structured because of the type of tulle that is used. Some are a little less voluminous because of the amount of layers, but ultimately they are a heavier version and not quite as voluminous as a hoop skirt would be. So depending on again the dress, uh, and sometimes there's petticoats worn on top of the hoop skirts.
yeah,
So, like I said before with the bustles, sometimes these are used on their own. Sometimes they are used in tandem with another one. Really, the options are unlimited. And again, depends on the dress and the function of what you're looking for. And again, wearing what makes you feel empowered, wearing what makes you feel good. If that is a bustle, a pannier, and a hoop skirt, knock yourself out.
I think that petticoats are really, really important when you are going to period precise events.
Hmm.
So when you are going to some of these Victorian balls, the fantasy balls that are based in Europe, where they're really taking some of the fantasy and period appropriate
Sure.
times. Petticoats are definitely one of the times that people are going to be looking to see if you have a petticoat.
Hmm.
Petticoats are really great if you plan on like going down a staircase and holding your dress up.
Hmm.
Then you see,
Dancing.
yes, you see the beautiful tulle underneath the dress, and that's kind of gives a little sense of magic.
Absolutely.
Petticoats are great in the winter too because they provide warmth,
Yes.
whereas the hoop skirt provides,
Airflow.
airflow and keeps you nice and cool. So petticoat probably good for a winter ball.
Absolutely.
There are definitely situations for this particular ball where a petticoat might be appropriate. Again, it'll be based on the dress,
Hmm.
but if you want to be warm, petticoat's the way to go.
Yeah. Agreed. So we've got a couple more undergarmenty types of things. Slips.
Yeah, slips. So if you're looking at like an A-line or a mermaid dress,
Hmm.
slips are really good for that because they're going to help with some of the static electricity that you might have. They also just provide an extra layer. So if your dress has a lot of sequence on it,
Just lets it hang
yeah,
nicely.
sometimes it'll kind of irritate your skin under there.
Right.
And so wearing a slit for a dress like that gives you a little layer of protection, helps it lay correctly on your body, and kind of doesn't allow it to cling to different things that it shouldn't be
Right.
clinging to.
Right.
It also, again, just provides another layer of undergarment and modesty. So, like you have different types of slips. There's full slips, two pieces, short slips, long slips,
Mhm.
camisoles, things
Mhm.
like that. And sometimes you want to wear some of those underneath your dresses because maybe your dress is a little bit too low cut. And
Sure.
you get a camisole that has some lace on the top and it adds to your costume.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
those are definitely times that you want to wear slips. Hosiery, uh, I am not a big fan. However, um, there's a time and place for everything. And I do enjoy wearing fishnets. If I have something that has like a really tall slit,
Absolutely.
I might like to have a little fishnet that's going on. In the cosplay community, a lot of people wear tights
Yeah.
because they can give different elements of costuming color
It
or
could be your
skin
skin color.
tones.
Yeah.
Yep. Blue tights, green tights,
Mhm.
all green tights,
Scaled tights.
especially
Yeah.
like scales, yes, if
Mhm.
they're trying to do a certain type of fantasy costuming, tights
Mhm.
are a very big part. Also, people wear tights on their arms and not just their
Right.
legs. So they're adding another bit of the coloration that is going to be exactly to your arm size.
Mhm.
And it's always optional. There are little tricks that we recommend if you're wearing fishnets, what you should wear on your feet if you're
Mhm.
going to have a certain style. Dancing tights. Sophie was a dancer and she was
Was.
telling me that there are these tights that have the holes in the bottom
Mhm.
and it makes it a lot easier if you were going to wear an open-toed
Mhm.
shoe. You have these dancing tights and you can reveal your
Yeah.
toes in your open-toed.
Yeah, dancing tights is definitely a hack, I think. Take a look at any dancewear shop. I think like Capezio is the one that jumps to my mind, but there's a lot of other like dance warehouses, dance discount, like online shops that take a look at the selection of tights, especially with like fishnets. A lot of fishnets that you buy, like, that are a little more affordable, they're not always the best quality. And I do feel like with hosiery, you kind of do get what you pay for.
That's right.
If you're planning it like a one time wear, maybe a couple time wear, go for the more affordable option. But if you're going to be somebody who is wearing fishnets regularly, like performers, or you don't even have to be, a performer necessarily, but performers, burlesque artists, things like that, opt for the more expensive ones. Look at the dance companies. They've got where the foot is completely lined on the fishnet, as opposed to it just being the netting, which makes it a little more durable. They last a long, long time. So I would recommend checking those out if you don't know that secret already. Also,
Corsets.
hold on. One more thing on the tights. Dance tights, even if you're just getting a flesh tone, it does wonders for shape
Oh,
and shapewear.
yes.
So, and we haven't
Shapewear.
touched on shapewear yet. But the tights that it on dance websites or dance shops, um, everything's lifted, tucked, all the things. So, if you haven't checked out dance tights, I would recommend it for sure.
And a lot of the tights, as we were going to begin to move into corsets that are not seen and girdles that are not seen.
Hmm.
The tights also come a lot, have like the tummy
Yeah,
control and they have like the Spanx option that kind of pull you in,
yeah,
keep you together. Um, One thing I do recommend if you're going to be wearing any kind of dress that keeps you close together is selecting the right undergarments like Spanx that if your legs are rubbing together a lot, you want to make sure that you do a trial run before, see how you feel. Your entire outfit, you should
do a trial run.
do a trial run. I mean,
Yeah,
even your headpiece, because you will not even imagine how many faux pas happen when people are like, I need this beautiful headpiece and I can't wear it because it won't stay on my
yeah,
head for
it's
more
too
than five
heavy.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's the thing too. I hear so many people by the end of the night, oh, my head hurts. It's so heavy. The things that we do for beauty,
yeah,
right? Beauty
yeah.
is pain. And you get all those great photos ahead of time, but bring something else, bring a flower, bring a halo, bring
Mhm.
something else that you can just pop on for after when you want to do all your dancing. So
Yes.
get your headdress on for your red carpet pictures,
Mhm.
have your big, ball gown and your fancy heels just for the photos. And then like tuck in a little pair of flats, some flip flops, something that allows you to move comfortably throughout
Mhm.
the night so that you're enjoying yourself. I can't even tell you how many times I see people sitting down or barefoot
Mhm.
because their feet hurt.
Yeah,
So, comfort is always a very important part of
absolutely.
costume selection.
Not only comfort with what you feel comfortable in and what you feel empowered in, but something that is gonna allow you to have longevity through the night, for
Yes,
sure.
and practical. We understand, as we're moving into the corset talk, we understand what it means to wear corsets and how they affect us and how great they make us look. But make sure that you're being mindful of how much you can take. Do a practice run, make sure you're able to stand it for
Yeah,
that long,
yeah.
and
Breathing's so important.
it's so important, especially when there are things like stairs
Yeah,
involved and
yeah.
you're having to sit down at tables.
Mhm.
There's a lot going on. Um, the undergarments is a really important part. We really talked a little bit about that. Shapewear, Spanx, the type of underwear that you
Yeah,
wear, the type of, baby powder or lotion that you're wearing so that you're not getting chapped. Those things are very important
yeah,
too.
yeah,
And it's important to do trial runs because if you use something the night of and it doesn't work out for you, then you're stuck.
yeah.
You have no other options. Corsets though. Let's talk about corsets.
Okay. You and I have very different, I don't know if opinion's the right word, but different experiences with corsets. I love them. I think they're great. I think they're beautiful. I am currently trying to teach myself on how to make them. So stay tuned for that. Exciting stuff. But corsets are wonderful. Not only are they structured and keep everything, nice and compacted, but they're just a beautiful garment, in my opinion. They're also referred to as stays, something I learned pretty recently, but it's used interchangeably. They're very, very popular in dark fantasy. You see them everywhere. It's a very popular garment. They can be worn underneath. They can be worn as the display itself, and oftentimes that's obviously the ones we notice the most. So corsets are used to constrict the torso. They pull everything in. It's the use of fasteners and laces, and it's just cinched tightly, giving you this beautiful hourglass figure. They are fun to sit in.
Even more fun to get out of.
They are interesting to get out of.
The feeling that you have
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful
at the
feeling.
end of the night,
Yeah, it's a
if you
beautiful feeling.
take off that corset is like nothing else.
Yeah, taking your bra off at the end of like a work day is great. Taking your corset off at the end of a ball is
Magic.
magic. Magic. Uh, there's a lot of different types of corsets. There's overbust, there's underbust, and we're not going to bore you with those, you know. But there's some history with corsets. The modern day corset are usually made from either nylon boning or steel boning. But originally, corsets were made with whalebone, which I'm so glad that they're not made with that anymore. But that's what they were originally made with. And it was designed to give the garment the structure that it had. The ones today, like I had mentioned, are made with nylon or steel. The steel ones provide a little more sturdiness, but also with that, your mobility is a little more constricted as well. So if you're looking to have a little more mobility, I would say the nylon structure is the way to go. If you're looking for a little more structure, the steel boning is the way that I would go. But a popular choice among the dark fantasy community, corsets are aplenty at any ball.
And I will say, I think that men wearing corsets are a very, very sexy thing. I think more men should do it. And, accentuating your torso as a male
Mhm.
is, very aesthetically pleasing to women. We
Mhm.
like to see your chest, your abdominal muscles, like all of those things are very, very nice and elegant and classy.
Yeah.
And if we look back into, history, there were a lot of corsets being made. In fact, corsets
Mhm.
were made for men first.
Mhm.
And that's the wild part about it is that, the men were trying to be thinner and showing off those curves more than the women who were having big bustles and
Right.
giant things to hide,
Right.
So
Right.
it's very interesting how the tables have turned. And again, we'll be including on our Pinterest boards and some of our links not just styles for women, but there will be styles for men too, because the men's costuming are just as important.
Yeah.
Throughout this series, we will be bringing on different guests, and we definitely will have some male cosplayers that will be talking about some of the some of the different things that they will be portraying in their costuming.
Mhm, mhm, and I think it's kinda nice, like you had mentioned, we're seeing kind of the pendulum come back the other way where we're seeing at these different events men wearing the corsets, which, a few years ago it wasn't quite as popular, but you see it more and more at the events
Right. I
now.
love it. I
Yeah,
think it's very, very classy and elegant. And, we want our men to feel good in what they're doing and show off what they got too. Again, these events are for everybody, whether you identify as a woman or a male or don't identify it at all. And you want to wear a corset, we want you to feel beautiful and empowered in what you're wearing.
absolutely. That's the underlying theme, I think, of this entire episode is just making sure you're wearing what you feel great in.
Hmm.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the dress
Okay,
styles.
so many.
There's so many dress styles, and we'll just give you a few of the
Okay.
basics. We talked earlier about the bustles, the petticoats, the hoop skirts. And what type of style dress is that, Sophie?
So that's gonna be like your more traditional ball gown, your more princess style ball gown. That's where you're gonna see your hoop skirts. That's where you're gonna see your use of petticoats, those layers that are, that create that silhouette. Think Disney princesses, think the big skirt, think, like the wedding cake, or way back birthday cakes. Do you remember those birthday cakes with the Barbie doll that's stuck in
Yes.
the middle and the whole cake was
Yes.
like a dome?
I had one of those.
Yeah, I had one too. I think mine was an ice cream cake. It was delicious. But so that's the silhouette we're talking about here. So that's like your basic ball gown is like that princess style. I know this one is one that you're very accustomed to wearing, the mermaid. Do you want to talk about
Oh,
that?
yes, the mermaid. I am a curvy girl. I've got a lot of curves, and so the mermaid works really well for my body type. What it does is kind of brings in the waist, stays close to the hips, and then flares at the bottom.
Hmm.
This dress is not a dress you would wear a hoop skirt with.
Hmm.
There are some petticoats that you can wear that kind of are designed for mermaids. They're tight to the body and then flare out at the bottom. The reason why they call it a mermaid is because it gives the effect of a tail. So it
Yeah,
looks like a tail at the bottom. Morticia Adams,
great
one of
example.
my iconic heroine models that I love. She was a mermaid dress wearer, and the mermaids are very, very nice because they give you that ability to get into smaller places
Hmm.
that maybe the ball gown might not be able
Hmm.
to. I will say it's easier to sit in a mermaid than
Oh
it is
yeah.
in a in a
Hmm.
princess style dress, but they also just give a different type of aesthetic versus the princess ball gown.
Yeah, they're always elegant. Whenever you see someone in a mermaid, it exudes elegance. It's always
And there's
beautiful.
so many different types that you can pair on the top.
Mhm.
Off the shoulders, strapless, spaghetti straps, puff sleeves. there's so many options that compare with the princess gown or a mermaid.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
they're very versatile. There's lots of places that you can buy mermaids. There's lots of places that you can get patterns to make your own.
Mhm.
This community is very, very crafty. I've noticed the
So talented.
fantasy.
Yeah,
Yes, I have met so many people that can make their own costumes and do, and they look better than anything
they're
you could have
gorgeous.
bought at
Yeah,
the store,
yeah.
for sure.
I think the great thing about making your own too is you never have to worry about someone wearing the same thing as you,
Yes.
you know, and that's a real thing. Is you know, you want to be unique, you want to, you know, have your own experience and, you know, and when you create your own costume, even if it's just like pieces of your costume, um, you don't have to worry about someone else having it. It's yours and it's unique to you. And I love that's I think one of my favorite parts about these fantasy events is that the uniqueness and the
And the
talent that we see.
sky is the limit.
Yeah.
Whatever you can think of, you can make.
Mhm.
If you dream it, do it
Yeah.
and and make it a part of your identity for the night. That's who you're going to be masquerading as.
Yep.
And that's, part of the fun in all of this is the dress up aspect
Yeah.
and just being able to escape for the night in
Mhm.
these beautiful costumes and be surrounded by other people who have taken the time and the effort and the energy to make themselves look equally beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Another popular one, and I wore a high-low dress to your first event, one of your first events that I went to. If you've got great legs and you want to show them off, I think a high-low dress is the way to go. If you don't know what those are the silhouette where the skirt's a little bit shorter in the front and it cascades down in the back. They're beautiful. They are great. You cannot opt for comfy shoes usually with this one though, because your shoes do show. But like I said, they are gorgeous. They are, I think very flattering to a lot of different body styles, but especially if you've got great legs, like show them off. Like this is the perfect dress to do it in.
And I find that more and more the high-low dresses are becoming popular again. I
Mhm.
think that they were, really popular in the 50s and
Mhm.
then for 50s prom dresses. And then they kind of went out for a little bit and they're starting to make their way back again. And
Yeah,
it's really exciting to see some of the beautiful things that are happening with the high lows.
I agree. I agree. Moving on to shoes.
Oh, yes. And as Sophie touched base, those high lows, you're going to show your feet. The dresses that have the slits, you're going to show your feet. So now is the time when you have to decide what can you wear? What are the shoes that are going to make you feel great, give you the look that you want, but also are they practical enough?
Mhm.
And if they're not, take your pictures in the beginning, tuck a pair of
Flats.
flats in your bag and just slip into those flats afterwards and it's again a no judgment just zone
Absolutely.
because
And
after those pictures are up and your heels are on, that's all they're going to remember.
absolutely. And I'd like to mention before, and I thought about it when you were talking about, you know, carrying those little extra shoes with you. A lot of ball gowns lately, even if you make your own, a lot of them incorporate pockets
Oh
now into the
yeah.
dresses, which is a lifesaver, especially if you don't want to carry around a larger bag, which none of us really do. So just throwing a pair of flats in either pocket is a huge, huge thing, a huge game changer, I think. And so finding a ball gown that has pockets is life changing.
And then we go to the fashion versus function. Okay. One of the perks that we have with the big princess gowns is that your feet are not really shown. So you
Mhm.
can really wear a lot of things under there. Hence why we usually wear those type of
Yeah.
dresses also
Yeah.
because we're having to do 400 flights of stairs every night and we're running around with our hair in the wind and our, phone in hand, calling someone for help or finding where they are, whatever it may be. So we are definitely using the ball gown, princess gown styles because we want to have sensible footwear on our feet.
Absolutely.
However, there's a lot of really elegant ways that you can get fashionable footwear
Mhm.
that are practical too.
Sure.
I know this is silly, but Skechers has like a formal wear line that have like memory foam in it. Crocs also have like really nice, elegant formal shoes that
Okay.
have like a little bit of the air sole to it.
Okay.
There are so many different options of comfort in elegance. Looking for shoes in a bridal shop is usually a good thing. The bridal shoes are usually designed for comfort in mind,
And wearing
as
them long hours.
yes, and
Yeah.
wearing them for long hours. So, shoes in a bridal shop is a good place to go.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really important that you trial and error. Wear
Mhm.
those shoes before practice run is
Yeah.
important. Don't just put on a pair of shoes the first night. You're going to be suffering because you have no clue if you're going to get a blister on the ankle or, if you're going to slip through with your toes. Like, it's really important for you to find what is practical for you too.
Yeah.
Some people can wear heels all night and they
Unfazed.
unfazed. I have so much respect for those particular people, and I'm not one of them.
No. I would like to be one of those people, but especially with the amount of traveling and running around we're doing, it's definitely form over or function over form for me now. Um, Attending a ball may be a little bit different, but being behind the scenes and working definitely need something comfortable, hands down.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the trial runs. We also talked about the shapewear. We talked about shoes. We talked about dress styles.
Hmm.
Um,
And the
but and
unmentionables.
the unmentionables. That's right. We want to talk about something that we're going to be doing at each of our events, and that's going to be a fantasy fashion contest.
Yeah.
We want you to put your best dress forward, and you will could be selected to be part of this fashion contest.
Right.
And we'll have the audience will be the judges,
Hmm.
so we do it by crowd interaction. They'll be cheering, clapping. We have a lovely girl, her name is Living Hell. She's going to be our officiant for the
Hmm.
fashion contest. And we really want to see you bring your best fantasy fashion forward. And
Yeah.
it's exciting.
We want to celebrate it. I mean, this is where all your hard work is really kind of recognized. And both Joy and I have experienced a lot of best dressed uh, type of contests. And it's hard to pin down exactly what you're looking for. You know it when you see it. But we've both experienced the kind of judging aspect of a best dress contest. You actually just this weekend got pulled into an impromptu one. We went to an event at Millennium Fandom, and they were having a vampire event
Lestat,
there,
yeah, Vampire Lestat party.
and Joy was one of their judges. And so it's what do you look for? I know it's hard to kind of pin down, but what do you typically look for in?
For that particular event, because it was a fandom bar, a cosplay event, I
Mhm.
was looking for craftsmanship.
Yeah.
So I was looking for, did you make it yourself? Is it original? What kind of pieces did you put together to make this unique and
Yeah.
different and special? And did you understand the assignment? First and foremost, are you dressed like a vampire?
Right.
Okay. In the situation, one of the winners that came was not actually dressed like a vampire, was dressed like a vampire
Which
hunter.
I thought was so great.
Right. Unique. I'm
Yeah.
looking for that.
Yeah.
Now, at our particular events, the audiences are the judge.
Yes.
So they're going to be looking for what they think is the best costume,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have the contestants come do a little twirl.
Mm-hmm.
We might ask them, what are some of the things that you did to make this outfit?
Absolutely.
Things like that, because we really want to showcase your work and we
Absolutely.
want you to feel proud of what you've done. And you'll be given a scepter and a coronation of the summer solstice fae, fashionable fae. And you will also receive 2 tickets to the next ball.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a prize to this. And we want you to come and be part of that and experience it. And if you weren't selected to be part of the costume contest, you are going to be part of the audience that judges it. We're
Absolutely.
not going to judge. You're going to judge.
Yeah.
You're going to decide who is the
Crowned.
most fashionable fantasy contestant. So we're excited about that. And we're really excited about sharing your experiences too. And we want you to send in some photos of former outfits that were your best outfits and maybe some that were your worst. We
Yeah.
want to see some of the faux
We
pas
like
too.
seeing both sides of it because we've both been there.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes things just don't work out the way you thought they were going to, and that's when the chaos ensues. And, rather than, think of that in a bad way, like celebrate that too, because I've had wardrobe fails aplenty, and they just make you better the next time that you're working on your next ensemble. And that's where I think, we've touched on this a couple of times, but that importance of that trial run is huge. And I think my most biggest catastrophes were when I did not do that trial run.
And wear it for a while.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
just put it on and look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Wear it around your house. Go out. It's amazing to dress up and go to the grocery store. The looks that people give you, the talks. We just did a photo shoot up in the mountains.
Yes.
And we had
was so
all
fun.
these cute little girls coming up and asking us, and they gave us hugs. And it was just
The flowing kisses.
so
It was
cute.
I never felt like a Disney princess more, I think, than when I was there in that moment.
Yeah.
It was very heartwarming and lovely. And it was a nice compliment, I think, to the work that you put in. And nothing is greater than, I feel like, kids are so honest. And so when you're getting, love from them, they're like, you look so beautiful. You're like, oh, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
For Halloween this last year, we went to the French Quarter.
Yes.
And I have a daughter, and she's very much into Frozen, as most 4 and 5 and 6-year-olds are. And so she had asked us to dress up like Anna and Elsa.
Yes.
So Sophie was Elsa. She had beautiful
Nope,
hair.
I was Anna.
Oh, you were Anna. I'm sorry. She was Anna. She had her hair in the 2 pigtails. She had the coronation day dress
Yes,
on,
yes.
looked perfect. And I was Elsa, because I look like Elsa, I guess.
Yep. The hair.
Yeah.
Hair's the bit.
My daughter selected it, which one we would be. But when we were out walking around, there were so many children that came up and talked to us, were on to take pictures with us, or asking us if we were the real Anna and Elsa. And it was so sweet and so kind and uplifting. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Well, when you're doing your trial run, get out there.
Yeah.
Go get that adornment from children and people looking and taking pictures. And you might see yourself on a reel someday and
Right.
you're like, what happened here? Oh, I was doing my trial run. But it gives you a sense of comfort. It also gives you a sense of, am I going to make it through the night?
Yeah.
Like, what could I do to make this better? Things like that. So the
Yeah.
trial run are really important and they help with the faux pas that come with
Yeah.
the disasters.
100%.
Yeah. But I think that's good for today. Again, this is a second two-parter.
Two-parter.
So we talked today about the fabrics that go into the fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about the shoes and the shapewear and the undergarments
Mm-hmm.
and the history Sophie gave us. The next episode that we're going to talk about is going to be
A little more focused on your hair, your makeup, the accessories that you may want to adorn yourself with, in order to kind of complete the fantasy ensemble that you are wanting to create. So we'll even go over a few of our favorite products, our go-to tried and true products, in the event you were looking to expand on your own. And we'd love to hear of some of your favorite products too. What are your tried and true favorites?
that is it for today on our Joy in the Dark productions. We hope that you enjoyed this podcast on our costuming, and we look forward to seeing you at the next episode where we will talk about makeup and accessories.
Bye.